What you're looking at right now is the Laurel Canyon Country Store, but in the movie The Fog, this was the San Antonio Gift Corner. So the coolers have changed, but over here in the corner, like in the movie, there's an orange juice in the cooler. In the movie, he opens it and he puts it back. We're not going to do that. We're actually going to buy it. We're going to buy it.
Yeah.
How cool is this? You see those two reflective mirrors up there? One's bigger and one's smaller. I asked the owners and they said those are original from whenever they were here filming The Fog. A lot has definitely changed, but the coolers are still here. There's a shot pretty much from this angle right here with the workers sweeping. Jessica, check it out. So in the movie, in the cooler, the glass that shakes, it's called the Mountain Valley water. And they still have the Mountain Valley sparkling water here. The bottle looks different, but it's the same product. Also in a shot very similar to this one here, this is where you see the sign that starts hanging and swinging that says Antonio Bay Gift Corner. Aside from the movie The Fog, Jennifer Aniston is rumored to have worked here before she made it famous, back whenever she was starring in horror movies like Leprechaun. Yes, the girl from the TV show Friends was in a horror movie about a killer leprechaun. It's a fun movie. But also, this store, Laurel Canyon Country Store, was ultimately made famous by Jim Morrison and the Doors in a song that he wrote for his girlfriend Pam called Love Street. See this plaque right here? It says The Doors, the store where the creatures meet. In 1968, the Canyon Country Store was immortalized as the store where the creatures meet in the Doors' #1 hit, Love Street. The song was written about the characters who passed through the store and lived on and around the trail where Doors lead singer Jim Morrison lived for a long time with his girlfriend Pam Corsa. Now we're going to save this for a different day, for a different video, but that house that's right there behind the sign that says Love Street, that's where Jim Morrison lived. Well, of course, it's changed over the years. I do believe it burned down. It's been remodeled. But how crazy cool is that? Jim Morrison, The Doors, Love Street, John Carpenter, The Fog, all wrapped up in one.
Wherever I come, bad luck is coming my way. Wherever I go, hard luck is there to stay. Good luck never stays a day. A bad luck's always coming my way.
Today we're visiting the filming locations to John Carpenter's horror movie, The Fog. Growing up, never in a million years did I ever think that I'd get the opportunity to visit these locations. And today we're doing just that. We're going to be visiting the locations in Inverness, Point Reyes, the lighthouse. How freaking amazing is that? If it's open, we're going to walk down to the lighthouse and walk right back up. But we're starting the video off here at this cross. It may look familiar to you if you are a fan of the movie. This road that I'm standing on was the entrance to the church where Father Malone, who was played by Hal Holbrook, where he was, pastor of. That church is hundreds of miles away in Los Angeles. We're going to visit that as well. But today, man, it's a beautiful day for the fog. I am really surprised that this cross is still standing. I mean, it's made out of wood. It was here when Carpenter and crew was here filming The Fog. And more than likely, it was probably here quite some time before that. Now, there is a church at the end of this driveway, not the one that they used in the movie. Like I said, that's down in LA. But this driveway kind of reminds me of the driveway leading up to the Evans City Cemetery where they filmed Night of the Living Dead. But it is just, it blows my mind that this is still here. I saw pictures online where at one point there was this orange looking moss on it. Not anymore. Wow. And if I could take this home with us, I would. But I'm not gonna do it. Respect for the horror movie. Now here's a little something that you may or may not know about the movie The Fog. When we started this video out, we started it off right across the street at the entrance to the church. That church is not here, it's hundreds of miles away. But what's really cool is Adrienne Barbeau's house, the filming location for that house. In the movie, it's 887 White Beach Lane. That's her house right there. You see how close these two are? We can't get onto the property, there's no trespassing, and we're not going to get on there unless we have permission. A lot of times we ask for permission, and if they say no, then so be it. But there's a really, really cool, creepy fence here, and we can walk up to the front of the house and get a shot of this place. It looks, well, for the most part, virtually the same. Now, it has these weird spires on the roof. I think they look cool. But this is it. Right? Man, that's cool. But how cool is this? Stevie Wayne's house, which means if we look up over here, the house is there, which means Mrs. Kubrick's house would have been right over here. And there is a house over there. You can kind of see it right there. In the movie, Adrienne Barbeau's character, Stevie Wayne, she lived here, and the house was seen throughout the movie in different scenes here and there, but none of them were as memorable as towards the end when her son was inside the house being watched by Mrs. Corbett. Adrienne Barbeau was freaking out because the fog was rolling in on the town and she was screaming frantically over the airwaves for somebody to go and help her son. Tom Atkins and Jamie Lee Curtis answer that call. They run over here. They save him just in the nick of time before the ghosts get him. Sadly, Mrs. Corbett, however, she was a victim to the fog. Now here's a perfect example of Hollywood movie magic at its finest. The church from the movie The Fog is nowhere near where they filmed the movie The Fog, including the driveway leading up to it. Remember the one with the giant cross that we started this video out at? It is filmed down here in Los Angeles in a town called Sierra Madre. Now this church, it's absolutely beautiful and it plays a very crucial part in the movie. Not only is this where we as the viewer, as well as the characters in the movie, find out the true history of Antonio Bay, but this building is where the movie, the ending, took place. That giant round rotunda-like room in the back of the church, it all happened right there. In real life, the church from the movie The Fog is called the Episcopal Church of the Ascension, and it's here in Sierra Madre. Now, a lot has changed. Where I'm walking right now, back whenever they were filming, was a driveway. That driveway is no longer here. But this is about the angle, the direction that they would have pulled up to the church right about where that fountain is, at the base of that tree, in the center of your screen, there was trees there. And they pulled right past the building right here and parked in the back. In fact, if we step back and look at the church from a different angle, you see right there in the grass, you can see where the road, the driveway to the church used to be. Hollywood movie magic, right? They didn't even use the front half of this church. Instead, it was all the side and the back part of it. If I get a little bit closer, I'm going to point out one more thing. Back whenever they were making The Fog, you can see all the dark wood on the building. It kind of does look like a castle. Really loving this thing. The dark wood back then, during The Fog, it was a red, almost like a burgundy, orangish color. But check this out. If we look over here, just like in the movie, there's still a cross here. Jessica just pointed out that there is still some of the original color, or what it appears to be the original color, right here on the door. But this wasn't the entrance that they used in the movie. But that looks pretty darn close, doesn't it? This place is amazing. In the movie, there's so many trees and shrubs and different bushes. I was a little afraid that we were going to come here, we wouldn't be able to get a clear shot of the building. But it is absolutely beautiful. Now, as we walk around to the back where they did a lot of the filming, and you'll see why, it looks like, yeah, it had to have been the driveway at one point, because walking towards the back through the grass, you can see the old remnants of the road. So this should start looking familiar. Crazy cool, right? Sadly, we can't get inside this building to line up shots, so this is as close as we're gonna get. Still pretty amazing to be standing right here. Such a cool movie.
April 21st, the deed is done. Blake followed our false fire on shore, and his ship broke apart on the rocks off Spivey Point. We were aided by an unearthly fog that rolled in as if heaven sent.
The road from Stevie Wayne's house over to the lighthouse is really long. I think it's like 12 miles. We're about halfway there, and we saw a sign for a cemetery. So of course we had to check it out. It doesn't look like it's a very big cemetery. This is amazing. Baby Ghoul, this is beautiful.
It is. Oh, that's awesome, that tree.
Right?
Wow.
Is it just me, or is our travels lately here in California feel like we're in some sort of distant planet?
It does.
Other world, right? This is... wow. So this is it says the Point Reyes life-saving station.
So I can't make out very much because it's so worn away, but I can make out the name, which is George Larson. And it says Point Reyes Saving Station. And it sounds like he was killed during an accident, but he was on duty. He was only 27 years old, and he died in 1893.
Crazy. Yeah, it says died at his post of duty.
Yeah, but this word is accidental. I can make that out, accidental, but I can't make out anything else.
There's just something otherworldly about this place. You right, the trees over there?
Yeah, these fell. Look how big it is on the bottom. cool. Oh! That's a captain.
Just look how beautiful this place is. This is insane. Because of the high winds, we can't go down to the lighthouse itself. But we can at least walk up to the steps and look down at it. 313 steps down, 313 steps back up. And there it is. Way down there. I never thought I'd be standing here at the lighthouse from the movie The Fog. Right now we're standing on Drake's Beach. Now this is the beach where Stevie Wayne's son is running, and he's carrying the fishing pole, and he finds the gold coin that turns into a piece of wood. And as he's running, he stops, and you can see that, I guess you would call it the mountain range, the formation of the cliffs behind him. They line up identically. And if we turn the camera this way, the camera moves, and you see him looking down here. Do you see what I mean about this place looking like it's a different world? California is unbelievable. We're going to go further down the beach and see if we can match up the rocks from the fog. No amount of pomade will save me from the wind on this beach. My hair is going all over the God's creation. How cool is this, right? John Carpenter. The movie The Fog, filmed here at Drake's Beach. Now just beyond that rock formation that we were just looking at are these. There's two of them over here, and they're a lot bigger. They're longer, but it looks just like the one that Stevie Wayne's son would have been walking or running along to get to the shiny piece, which turned out to be a gold coin, which also turned out to be a piece of wood. Jessica, you're looking very creepy standing there the way that you are. Now here's the fun thing about this. Whenever Stevie Wayne's son gets over here and they show the close-up of the gold coin and the piece of wood laying in the rocks, they don't really give you much to go on. So it's almost impossible to figure out where exactly that gold coin was located. But it's somewhere on these rocks. So there's a scene where he's running on this rock that we're standing in front of right now, and Jessica, the loving, beautiful Jessica, has decided to do some more acting. You ready? All right, baby girl, go! So he runs pretty much the exact way that she's running right now, up to the top of the point right there. And that's where he stops and he sees the gold coin. Baby Goal, myself, as well as those who are watching, would like to commend you on your amazing performance. But yes, right over here in this area, there's no real way of knowing. Like I said, there's no exact way of knowing where the coin would have been. But it's somewhere around here. There's a close-up shot. Our next location to visit is this blue building, now known as Due West Restaurant and Tavern, which is funny because in John Carpenter's world of The Fog, Antonio Bay, this also was a bar. Inside this building is where Tom Atkins makes the phone call to Adrienne Barbeau after he finds the seagrass, well, what remains of it. A lot has definitely changed over the years, but the bar is still here. In fact, right here, this is where the payphone was that Tom Atkins uses to call Adrienne Barbeau. The scene opens up with the camera panning down past this structure, and you see where it says Happy Trails? Well, on the other side of the structure, there's a sign that said Antonio Bay celebrates its past. Mrs. Williams and Sandy come walking right underneath this archway into the parking lot, and in doing so, you can see over here on the left-hand side where that light pole is, right here, there were some bleachers, and all the way at the end of the parking lot, right past those cars, is where they had the statue for the celebration that was going to be unveiled. Mrs. Williams was a little nervous that it was going to look, well, crappy. She peeked. It wasn't that bad.
Then we will have speeches by the mayor, sheriff, me. Oh, do you have my notes?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm almost afraid to look. Well, not bad.
The sun is starting to set, and I feel it's about time that we actually go into Antonio Bay proper and just walk around and take a look at this place. Antonio Bay in the movie really isn't a real place. It's actually Point Reyes Station. You can line up some shots. It's windy, but there's no fog. That's a good thing. Walking around town lining up shots, Jessica noticed something over here in the corner. Now I know it's not a church, but look at this. Did you see that? That was a ghost.
The brick just fell out.
Yeah.
And there's newspaper behind it.
I wonder if it says anything about the history of this town.
It just might.
Antonio Bay. Oh, that is scary.
I didn't put that there either. It was actually a loose brick that I happened to see with a bunch of newspaper stuff behind it, and I was like, okay, we gotta reenact this.
Oh, we are so bad at this. Baby Ghoul, I've been dragging you around to the beach all day. The sand, the mountains, in the middle of nowhere, and wind galore.
Yeah.
It's actually kind of nice to be back in civilization, wouldn't you say so?
It's still really, really windy here, and it's funny to look at the natives to this town because they don't seem as bothered with it, and we're like, this sucks.
It's
I
insane.
guess. Yeah. Lots of dirt in your eye.
And sand.
And sand.
In your mouth.
And I got slapped by the beach today.
When they were filming The Fog here, they really didn't do much filming around town. There's only a couple of different shots, and that's whenever the fog was rolling into town. So this is gonna be rather quick. With the fog rolling into town, Stevie Wayne is giving directions over the radio on where to turn based on where the fog currently is. At this time, Tom Atkins and Jamie Lee Curtis in that truck with the windshield busted out, they roll into town and they stop right about here. You can see those two buildings in the background.
It's just hitting the outskirts of town. Broad Street.
The fog starts rolling in a very, very fast rate. And instead of going forward, they put the truck in reverse and they back out of town. And just in time too, because the fog just covers the entire street. over the radio, Stevie Wayne begs everybody to get inside and close their windows. There's something in the fog. And here's another shot of the fog creeping in to Antonio Bay, the town.
Get inside and lock your doors. Close your windows. There's something in the fog. If you're on the south side of town, go north. Stay away from the fog.
And with that being said, that concludes our tour of John Carpenter's The Fog here in Antonio Bay. And as always, thank you for joining us on another Grimm adventure, this time from Antonio Bay. Happy Halloween.
Wherever I come, bad luck is coming my way. Wherever I go, hard luck is there to stay. Good luck never stays a day. Bad luck's always coming my way.